Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Banter with Oye. And currently we are still reviewing the book by Maxillian, which is Oil Politics and Violence, which looks at the military coup culture of Nigeria. Now, today we're going to be looking at the coup perpetrators, their victims, and the eve of the coup itself. Now, we had Major Ifejuna, who was the Lagos operation lead. We had Major Kaduna Oziego, who was leading the operations in the north. And we had Major Owantego. I have to cover my face when I'm saying his name because as a Nigerian girl, yes, I might not be from the east, but at least I should be able to try and pronounce his name. Anyways, this person, I put his name, was leading the operations in the north as well. And then we had Captain Wobosi, who was leading the operations in Ibadan. And then we had Lieutenant Jerome Ugochi, who was leading the operations in Enugu. Now, the following, they were supposed to arrest rather the key government, officers. And the people that they were going to arrest was Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was Prime Minister. Secondly was Festrin Sam, which is Minister Festus Okotiebo, who is the Finance Minister. Again, if you remember when in the previous episode when I said he was like the face of corruption at the time, Sam Ahmadu Bello, they were also going to arrest Dr. Michael Okpara, Dr. Dennis Osadebe, who was the premier of the Midwest region, Chief Samuel Oladuki Akitola, who was, replacing Obafemi Awolowo while he was in prison, Dr. Kingsley Ozumba Mbadiwe, and Teslim Olawale Elias, Jaja Wachuku, Inu Wada, Waziri Ibrahim, Sheo Shagari, Ayo Rusiji, Moses Majekodomi, Richard Akinjide, and Matthew Umbu. Not Uba, because Uba is MBA, is MBU. How do you pronounce MBU? Anyways, he was the Minister of State. Now, I went through these names because I wanted to point out the fact that their victims were ethnically diverse. So it wasn't from a place of ethnicity. It wasn't like they were targeting a particular group based on their tribe. Now, the biggest problem they had was they couldn't decide on whether to off these people or simply arrest them. So some people wanted everybody offed. Others said no, they didn't want any, offing of people. So at the end of the day, they left it to the discretion of each major. Like you determine what you do with who you are arresting, which was a bad idea. Like if you are going to do something, you might as well go ahead and do it. Like what's the point, right? Anyways, so the coup in itself took the leaders of the army by surprise because up until this point, the talks of coup, in as much as there were so many warnings and a lot of them were worried, there was still a large portion of a large thought process that they had where they felt like it was propaganda because up until this time there hadn't been any coup. So at some point, a lot of them were beginning to not believe, not take it serious. They were just so indifferent about such conversations. So as a result, when it did happen, they were very surprised. Now, another thing that was interesting was the only person who was at his post was Colonel Ojuku of the big battalion in 5th Battalion in Kano. Now, the remaining four battalions, all of them were the leaders of the remaining four battalions. They were either off for an official, maybe they were either on an official assignment or unofficially they were not on their like positions, thereby leaving their positions open to their deputy. Now, coincidentally, most of their deputies or all their deputies were Igbo. So on the night before the eve, the people leading the battalions, the 5 battalions, were all Igbos, adding to which is the reason why we have this very huge narrative that the first coup was an Igbo led coup. Because all the people that were leading the military that night were all Igbos. Some of them may have known about it, some of them did not know about it. I don't like did they participate in it? Were they all active participants in the coup? But then this is part of the things that led to people saying, it was an Igbo led coup. On that Friday night, Brigadier Mai Malari was having a party in his house. He had just lost his wife and he was getting married. He had lost his wife. Whether he just lost it recently or not, we don't know, but he had lost his wife and he was remarrying, so he was having his wedding ceremony. So as a result, you had a lot of politicians there, dignitaries, and some military leaders. So as a result, the coup plotters wanted to be a part of the celebration so as not to, arouse any suspicion, so that nobody's looking at them like, why are they not here, and question them and all of that. So military people that were at the wedding were, Major General Agunyi Ronsi, Colonel Kor Mohammed, Lieutenant Colonel Gowon, Lagema, Pam, Ojoku, and Ejo. Then the coup planners that were there was Major Ifejuna was there, Anofuro was there, Okafor was there, Obieno was there. So now after the party, Ifejuna decided to address his own camp at his house and talk about how these leaders were running the country into the ground and they have failed to find a solution to resolve the crumbling Nigeria basically. So now at the time it appeared that all the junior ranks and NCOs they just under the major they just thought that they were doing an internal security exercise. They didn't know it was a coup, but they later realized that they were taking part in a plot to overthrow the government. Now, by Saturday morning, when Colonel David Ejo Lagema, they were all guests at Ikoyi Hotel on Friday night, owing to Brigadier Mai Malari's wedding. When they woke up in the morning, it was crazy, crazy, crazy bloodshed everywhere from the hotel lobby, and they notified his driver also notified him and told him that Prime Minister has been kidnapped. And when he got to another person's room, he saw shell casings everywhere. Well, that's how the coup started. Now, in subsequent episodes, we'll be going into, what was happening in Kaduna, what happened in, because this is Lagos, this is in Lagos. Now, we're going to be going into what happened in Kaduna, Kano, and Ibadan, and, in subsequent episodes. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.